Okay, I think we're all here. We'll now call this meeting to order. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Girdler. Here. Senator McDaniel. Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Here.
Representative Petrie.
Here.
Representative Thomas. Co-Chair Freeland.
Here.
Chair Howell.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Need a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Without any objections, Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Oh.
Okay, thank you. I was reading off the wrong script. There's no need to take a vote on this. If there's no objections, we'll go ahead and approve the minutes. And Catherine, will you please report the information items?
Pursuant to KRS 26A168 sub 1, KRS 45793, and KRS 45818, the Administrative Office of the Courts, the Finance and Administration Cabinet with the Commonwealth Office of Technology reporting independently, and post-secondary institutions managing their own capital construction under KRS 164A580's transmitted quarterly capital project status reports. Pursuant to KRS 45760 sub 9, the Administrative Office of the Courts, the Office of State Budget Director, and post-secondary institutions managing their own capital construction under KRS 164A580 transmitted annual capital projects reports. Pursuant to KRS 45812 sub 1, 7 school districts, none of which needed an additional tax levy to pay debt service, reported upcoming debt issues for new projects through their fiscal agents. The school districts were Bardstown Independent, Casey County, Fayette County, Ludlow Independent, Menifee County, Newport Independent, and Paris Independent. Pursuant to KRS 45A180 sub 2, Western Kentucky University reported its intent to use a construction management risk project delivery method for its Construct New Gordon Ford College of Business project authorized in House Bill 1. Pursuant to KRS 56863 sub 11, the Kentucky Asset Liability Commission transmitted its semi-annual report through the Office of Financial Management. Pursuant to House Bill 1, Eastern Kentucky University and Western Kentucky University reported their planned post-secondary education asset preservation pool projects.
Right, thank you. Our first action item up is for the Louisville Arena Authority prepayment plan. And Leslie Gohegan, did I do that right? Did I get close? Leslie, I'm sorry if I butchered your name a little bit, but Leslie Gohegan is here remotely to testify on this.
I'm not sure if she's actually connected or not. I think she's in the waiting room trying to get in. She's texting us.
We'll wait and get her patched in here. We're going to give Leslie just a little bit of time, and then if that doesn't work, Tom, do you want to go ahead and step up and do this?
Sure, that'd be fine. She
Then
was
let's go ahead and proceed with you doing this. And if Leslie does get patched in, then y'all can work out who's going to drive from that point forward. But we just introduce yourself for the record and begin.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Tom Liston. I am one of the board members on the Louisville Arena Authority, and I'm the chair of the Finance Committee. So we appreciate you guys taking the time today. With us is another board member, Don Parkinson, and Chip Sutherland, who is our financial advisor from Baird. And Leslie has been trying to get in. Hopefully she'll get in quickly, and she is the chair of the board of the Arena Authority. So thank you very much. Despite an estimated negative impact from the pandemic on the arena, we're here with good news. We've submitted a copy of the financial statements to you for calendar year 2021 and the most recent credit rating reports from S&P and Moody's. Just a little background, in 2017, we did a refinancing of all the Louisville Arena Authority bonds that were originally issued in 2008. We defeased the previous bonds and entered into an arrangement with the state for an adjusted TIF arrangement. We adjusted our arrangement with Metro Louisville government and with the University of Louisville to try to get the arena on more firm financial footing. And so as part of that, we are in a pretty good financial position. From 2018 through 2020, which is the first few years of the bonds, we were only making interest payments on the bonds that we issued in 2017. Last year and this year, we'll begin making some fairly small, $1 to $3 million, $4 million principal payments. But in total, our required payment is about a $20 million a year payment going forward. When we had hey, Leslie, you're on now?
Yes, I am.
Good. We were just starting, so I just talked through a few of the bullets that you were going to touch on. I don't know if you want to jump.
I just want to start and say, on behalf of the Louisville Arena Authority, I appreciate the opportunity to present to the committee today. And I don't know if Tom did the introductions, but I'm joined by two fellow board members, Tom Liston, who is the Finance Committee Chair, and Don Parkinson. And we also have our advisor from Baird, Chip Sutherland. Despite this estimated 59 million negative impact of the pandemic on the Louisville Arena Authority, I'm here with good news. We have submitted to you a copy of the audited financial statements for calendar 2021 and the most recent credit ratings from the S&P and Moody's. The 2017 refinancing put us in a position to meet our financial obligations, in particular debt service and capital improvements, as well as to maintain an investment grade rating throughout the pandemic. From 2018 through 2020, the authority paid interest-only debt service on a semi-annual basis, about $17 million annually. And beginning in December of last year, 2021, the authority began making the required principal payments. So together with the interest, about over $20 million annually. Coming up on December 1st of this year, a portion of the bonds become prepayable, which leads me to the second reason for appearing before you to present an alternative payment plan. Of the projected 59 million negative impact on revenue from the pandemic, over half of that amount, about roughly 35 million, relates to the TIF sales tax revenue. And a combination of 2 years of actual losses plus estimated future losses through 2025. As an example, the authority received zero TIF sales tax revenue for the sales for the tax year of 2020. And the authority will be receiving around 4.8 million in the next few weeks for the tax year 2021. And this compares to about 12.5 million for where we were before the pandemic for tax year 2019. With the benefit of the $12 million of ARPA funding through the state budget, which we're very appreciative for, and the additional $1.2 million from Metro Louisville, the Louisville Arena Authority Board has approved a prepayment of $30.9 million. This allows the authority to have a contingency of $25 million in excess funding until the TIF sales tax revenue has recovered. And we're projecting that recovery to be in 2025. This $25 million in contingency will cover a year of debt service if we again encounter some unforeseen circumstances. So using the $30.9 million to prepay now versus the entire $55.9 million of excess funds only impacts the final payment date of just a few months. So depending on the recovery and growth of the TIF sales tax base, we expect to prepay the balance of redeemable bonds, which will be at another additional like $27.9 million over the next 3 years by 2025. Are there any questions?
Anyone on committee have any questions on this? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the repayment plan? There's been a motion. Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion on any of this? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Girdler. Aye. Senator McDaniel. Senator Webb. Representative Herron. Yes. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Freeland. Chair Howell.
Okay. Thank you, and thanks for your perseverance in logging in with us today. That has passed, and we're now moving on to. I got it. We're now moving on to action item 5 for the lease report on post-secondary institutions. We have Meg Campbell here for the University of Louisville. Meg, if you're on, you've got the floor. You may begin.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. We are on, this is regarding the lease for the Health Equity Innovation Hub that is part of the Office of the Executive Vice President of Research and Innovation. It's on the 515 building. This is a building that was donated to the university, to the foundations. And we have a lease where this group is taking 1 floor of the space.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Campbell on this? Hearing none, does anyone want to make a motion to approve the lease? There's been a motion. Is there a second? There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If there's not, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Girdler. Aye. Senator McDaniel. Senator Webb. Representative Herron. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Freeland.
Yes.
Chair Howell.
Okay, the lease has been approved. Thank you, Ms. Campbell. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Janice Tome remotely from the...
Janice, tell him you pronounce it just exactly like he does.
What is it? Thomas?
Don't lean back in that one.
Come on, it'd be good entertainment. We need something. Well, you can change chairs. You have your pick there. There's one that's real tall and one that's real small. So,
Josh, on that lease, on number
it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. There, we've got them all different sizes.
there is an annual increase.
So get situated, and at your leisure, begin.
2 extensions that are available.
W-E-B-B.
I can't believe it. Yep, I can't believe they wouldn't have something like that, but I'm not seeing it. I'd like to know. I'm sorry, I couldn't get it in fast enough up there.
Thank you.
Our information.
So there has been a motion to roll all of these into one roll call vote. Is there a
In
second?
front. Their
If
information.
no objections, then now you can begin. Thank you.
I didn't hear that one.
Can you hear me now?
I'll ask him
Is that
the
better?
next one.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Janice Thomas, Deputy State Budget Director. In accordance with the provisions of KRS 45750 through 45800, I'm presenting 6 projects today. First is the Danville Interior Restoration. Well, I'll do the first 3, military affairs, and then I'll roll on through the rest of them. First is the Danville Interior Restoration Project in the amount of $2.5 million with an amendment to the fund source split from 50-50 federal state funds to 75-25, consisting of $1,875,000 federal funds, $69,150 from the 2022 Investment Income Maintenance Pool, and $555,850 from the National Guard Modernization General Fund Pool that was authorized in the budget bill from the 22 regular session. This project was originally approved in July of 22. This project is a complete interior renovation of the facility. The facility requires upgrades to the interior to include ATFP windows, which is a form of security windows, flooring and walls. The Kentucky Army National Guard plans to station the 223rd Military Police Company and the Danville Readiness Center after its renovation. Next is the Murray Readiness Center appropriation increase in the amount of $258,300 funded with 50% federal and 50% state funds for a total of $2,208,300. This project was originally approved and reported to Capital Projects and Bond Oversight August 11th of 21 for 100% federal funds in the amount of $1,950,000. At that time, this was one of 7 projects that DMA requested to be funded 100% federal funds under COVID guidelines. Subsequently, the Murray Readiness Center project did not fit into the federal annual allotment. Therefore, the project is being funded 50-50 match using $204,150 federal funds from the U.S. Department of Defense Army Operations Cooperative Agreement, $1,041,219.50 from the 2022 Investment Income Maintenance Pool, and $62,930.50 from the 22-24 Armory Installation Facility General Fund Maintenance Pool. In summary, there is a revised fund source split from 100% federal to 50-50 federal state and a scope increase of $258,300, bringing the total project to $2,208,300. This project consists of selective demolition and subsequent renovation of areas in the existing Readiness Center, which was originally constructed in 1985. The demolition work includes the removal of existing windows, latrines, removal of off-site disposal of existing architectural finishes, acoustic ceiling systems, vinyl flooring, and doors required to accommodate the new building improvements. Demolition also includes disassembling and exiting communication systems within the affected work area. The renovation includes installation of new anti-terrorism force protection compliant windows and storefront, updating the existing male and female latrines, new hollow metal doors and frames, etc. I believe you all have the summary to go on to the amount of work that's being done at that facility. The third Department of Military Affairs project is the Jackson Readiness Center Interior Restoration Project. Appropriation increase in the amount of $566,000 for a total revised project of $2,466,000, funded 100% with federal funds. This project was originally approved and reported to Capital Projects Bond Oversight on August 11th of 21 as 100% federal funds in the amount of $1.9 million. This amendment is necessary due to escalation of the bid climate. This project consists of selective demolition, subsequent renovation of areas in the existing Readiness Center. I'll move on. That's all of the military affair projects. Would you like for me to continue? Okay.
Is there a motion to? Okay.
Just on the Murray Readiness Center, what is this going to be part of the rifle range still existing, or is
I have a note in here that this project will also reconfigure the existing rifle range into a new classroom for additional instruction space, as well as training room, and upgrade the existing unit storage and locker room. So basically they're reconfiguring the rifle range space. Now, I believe, do we have a representative from Military Affairs? Is Chuck Ammons or? Oh, Joe, come on up, and if you can answer the question, I would appreciate it. Is that okay, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely.
Joe Sanderson, Director of Facilities Division for Department of Military Affairs. The Murray Readiness Center and most all other readiness centers throughout the state have been converted, and there's no shooting in the armories anymore. Had a major lead problem, and so we have cleaned all the armories from lead. However, the Wendell H. Ford Regional Training Center has ranges there, and that's where the National Guard trains their shooting, gets qualified.
So it's just been moved off campus somewhat.
Yes, sir, it's been consolidated
sure.
at the Wendell Ford Training Center.
Great. Thank you for your answer.
No problem.
Anyone else have any questions on that? Janice, will you go ahead and touch on the appropriation increase for District 6 Office for Transportation?
Yes. So next is the Transportation Cabinet, Office of the Secretary, District 6 Building, Office Building, Material Lab, and line item project located in Kenton County. It's a 15% appropriation increase in the amount of $1.8 million, bringing the revised appropriation total to $13.8 million funded from Road Fund. This road fund project was reauthorized in the most recent budget bill, House Bill 244, in the 22 regular session in the amount of $12 million. This increase of 1.8 will bring the total project amount to 13.8. The source of funds will be paid out of the Highway Construction Contingency Account that is authorized pursuant to KRS 45760 sub 6E. This increase is needed due to higher construction costs than originally budgeted.
Any questions on any of that? Do I have a motion and a second to? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see.
You're fine. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So help me on the District 6 Office Building and Materials Lab, a 15% increase. 15% increase.
Correct.
Over what time frame are we talking about an adjustment that's needed that just came through the budget, and we're already anticipating a 15% over?
Yes. Is Pat Grugan here available? Hey, Pat. Is it okay, Mr.
Yes,
Chair, to
please.
bring Pat to the table?
And so the first question is whether it's a change of scope, something that was discovered that was unknown, or we're just putting in the regularly referenced inflation that we're not sure, but we think it's over.
Well, we have value engineered this project from the start to try to keep costs low, but just because the market's so volatile right now, there's no way to really tell you exactly how much it's going to go up. The 15% was kind of a shock for us too, but we got to get this project done. The building has a safety and health issue that we need to address.
Right, and part of the if I may, Mr. Chairman, and part of the reason I'm asking is because this was just come through the budget cycle. We're operating on the most current recommendations and most current numbers that we have, and we're 15% off and maybe worse than that. Now I'm starting to wonder whether we can trust any of the other projections that we had and whether we're looking at a huge shortfall just to do what we've already committed to do with all the other projects across not only transportation but every other division. So that's why I'm saying, was this just I'm trying to get, was this an isolated event, or is this going to be from now on?
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I just would like to iterate that when the budget was enacted, it was an estimate, and so this revised amount is on the actual bid that was received.
Yeah.
So we're seeing across state government in a majority of the capital projects an escalation in costs being higher, and what it does, the finance cabinet has to either rebid or they have to, what can we cut out, and if there's nothing that they can cut out, then we come back asking for an appropriation increase to cover the cost and scope of the project.
Right. So so on this one, I'll just narrow, if I may, Mr. Chairman, just narrow down. So no scope change, correct?
No.
Okay. No detail change. It's all engineered the same way.
Yes.
Meets the same functions.
Yes.
It's just 15% more based on our first estimate.
Yes.
To most recent estimate is what we're looking at. We're hoping it stays within the 15.
Correct.
No, we've got a contract.
We
Yeah,
have a budget. We have a bid.
Correct.
Yes.
Bids.
So we know
or
exactly
bid.
what it's going to cost.
Do we have a bid or a bids?
Bid.
We have a bid. Yep.
We received multiple bids. We have a
Yep.
successful bidder.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've got a follow-up on that. When was the bid process initiated on this project? Do you remember? I don't want to put you on the spot on timing or anything, but was it after this last session?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Bids came in September.
And kind of along the same token, do you remember when the actual estimate for this project was given? I'm trying to kind of follow along on Chairman Petrie's, not necessarily for this, but just from a broader picture. What's our time gap for that we're measuring this increase in cost? And it's all over the board in the economy. I don't have a problem with what you're doing or how that part is going at all. I'm just trying to ask a broader, using you to help answer a broader base of questions. Do you remember when this initial estimate was obtained?
If you please, I'll ask Jennifer Linton to come to the table. She is the Executive Director at Finance Facilities.
Yeah, thank you.
You want to step in and talk about the bid process?
You're going to put her in the trick chair, right? I see. The last one to the table always gets that, you know.
I'm already short.
He figured out how to adjust it. There you go.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
My name is Jennifer Linton. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Facility Development and Efficiency in the Finance.
Okay, thanks for stepping up and do this. And I don't want to put you on the spot because you were not prepared to do
of
this,
course,
but
with the budget process, about this time last year, we were finalizing. Oh, sorry. For the budget process, about this time last year, agencies were finalizing, right, last October, agencies would have been finalizing budget requests to be submitted to be part of the biennial budget process. So, by the time we bid, we were almost a year past when those estimates were put together.
okay.
So, you may see more.
Yeah.
We are seeing more. You're not the only one. It's not questioning what you're doing, but I'm trying to narrow down as best I can the scope and the breadth and the depth of what's coming.
And to Mr. Gergen's point, we are working really hard with our consultants to make sure we're, before we go out to bid, that we're within as close of estimate as we can. We're cutting scope to still meet the function of the buildings, but to be able to, have successful bids.
And if I may just put this out there in the air for everybody, it may be a good motive thought of, must we build it now? Not saying this particular project. If it's a need, necessity, understood. But if you're building a house and your rates are going up, sometimes you wait 6 to 16 to 36 months. And there may be much more scrutiny about the needs versus our wants in this construction environment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you for letting us put you on the spot there a little bit. Anyone else have any questions or comments on this? If seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Thanks.
Move it, did I? I need a motion now. I tried to move it, but we had to defer to the chairman, didn't we? Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? The motion is second. Now, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Girdler. Aye. Senator McDaniel. Senator Webb. Yes. Representative Herron. Yes. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Freeland.
Yes.
Chair Howell.
And thinking with that pass, these next two items require no action, but we go ahead and proceed with outlining those.
Yes, thank you very much. The next two projects are pool projects in excess of $1 million. First, in pursuant to House...
I'm not sure your microphone's back on there.
Again? Is that better? Hello?
Get a little closer to it and see.
Hello?
There we go.
Okay. This is a fun committee. I'm so happy to be here in person with you all. Yes, it will, won't it? Okay, so the first project, pursuant to House Bill 1, the 22-24 Appropriations Act, the Secretary is reporting a project greater than $1 million, funded from bond-funded maintenance pool. The project is the CHR Central Utilities Plant Optimization Project in the amount of $2,816,020 and is funded from the 2022 and the 22-24 Facility Support Services Maintenance pools. The plant serves the entire CHR complex, including the CHR building, the Health Services building, the Commonwealth Office of Technology Data Center, and the Jones building. The second project and the last project for me to report today is the Justice and Public Safety Cabinet, Department of Corrections, Rotorua Correctional Complex, kitchen drain line repair and replacement in the amount of $2,406,500, funded from the 2022 maintenance pool bond funds in the amount of $391,500, and from the 22-24 maintenance pool general fund in the amount of $2,015,000. Due to the RCC kitchen drain lines and its underground sewage system failing, there's an immediate need for replacement of the kitchen sewage system, which is crucial to provide the adequate cooking and proper sanitation. This project includes a temporary kitchen, replacement of drain lines, replacement of grease trap, lift station, and replacement of the kitchen floor. And with that, that concludes my presentation today.
And thank you. Does anyone have any questions on Senator Webb?
It's when it says that the sewage system's failing, just the kitchen sewage system, or is the whole facility complex?
It's just in that kitchen facility area.
So everything else is okay.
And is Commissioner Randy White available? I didn't know if he joined us today or not, if he wanted to expand on that, but I don't think he's available.
Is he with us?
Okay, yeah. I just didn't know if he wanted to offer anything else, but no, it is just the kitchen area.
Or I can try to find that on my own. Thank you. Just the kitchen?
Just the kitchen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else have any other questions? All right. Thanks for showing up and being a good sport. Catherine tricked you with the trick chair to start you off, but
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Next item is the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. I believe we have Millward Dedman on remotely. Yep. Is he on the good? He's going to talk about some of the clean water program stuff. Do we have a motion and second to roll all of this into one roll call vote? We got a motion and a second. Mr. Dedman, please begin.
Thank you, Chairman Howell and members of the committee. I'm Millward Dedman, Deputy Executive Director with the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. Pursuant to KRS 22-4A.100, the authority will present one loan and 11 grants for the committee's review. Fund B, Infrastructure Revolving Fund, B22-003. The Bath County Water District's $640,469 Fund B loan will be used to finance the Bath County Water District's Improvements and Upgrades project. The project consists of several improvements and repairs to the water system's aging infrastructure. The scope of work includes rehabilitation of 6 water tanks, construction of a new pump station, and the upgrade of an existing pump station. This will be a 20-year loan with a 1.25% interest rate. This loan was approved at the October 6 KIA board meeting, and KIA respectfully request your approval. Then of our 11 cleaner water grant funded projects, all are reallocations from previously presented projects from the county allocation pool. 1 project is for sewer and 10 are for water. And in true Sandy Williams fashion, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that 2 of these projects are in Senator Girdler's district.
What you're suggesting is I make a motion or what?
My boss is always just very keen on pointing out whose district is being affected here.
Any questions on any of this for the presenter? Here now, is there a motion to approve this? Is there a duly appointed second? Senator, you'd have felt cheated if you hadn't gotten to make that motion, wouldn't you? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Girdler. Aye. Senator McDaniel. Senator Webb. Aye. Representative Herron. Yes. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Freeland.
Yes.
Chair Howell.
Aye. The motion carried on that. Thank you, Mr. Devon. Appreciate your time.
Thank you all.
Next up, we have in person Ryan Barrow, Executive Director, Office of Financial Management, carefully choosing his chair over there.
Yes.
Ryan, introduce yourself and begin at your leisure.
Sure. Ryan Barrow with the Office of Financial Management. Would you like me to proceed with the first action item? Okay, for consideration today, the first transaction we commonly see each month is a multifamily housing conduit revenue bonds. There's no extension of state credit nor corporation credit, but there is private activity bonds received to finance these on a tax-exempt basis. It's 84 units located on Codell Drive in Lexington. It'll be a private placement. Debt will be supported by the developer. Proceeds around $10 million with total project cost at 19.8. And there is information about the project in your packet.
There's been a motion. Is there a second? Okay, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Girdler. Aye. Senator McDaniel. Senator Webb. Representative Herron. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Freeland.
Yes.
Chair Howell.
Aye. That motion's carried on the KHC conduit. These next three items don't require any action. You can proceed.
Sure. Happy to say these next three transactions preceded some recent rate increases. Every month, I think I mentioned that rates are increasing, and in 2 weeks, the Treasury rates have gone up 8 basis points to 29. That's 8 of 100 or 29 of 100%. But to see that movement in 2 weeks, it really catches my attention. And that's on the Treasury side. It's somewhat good long term because the state will invest cash at higher rates. But the MMD, which is a benchmark for how we borrow, went up 29 basis points to 44 basis points along the curve in 2 weeks. We're seeing just even since December about 2.29% to almost 3% increases just since December 31st. And the MMD is very similar to those rates that we've seen increase in Treasury. So, a lot of the projects we'll report in the future will be at higher rates that we constantly say. I don't know if I've ever quantified it, but it is reported as of close of the market yesterday. So in terms of the first transaction, this is for University of Kentucky. It was a general receipts bonds, Series B, $67.8 million, 22.8 was a taxable Series C. This was various budget bills, asset preservation, and renewal and modernization. And the projects are identified in the packet. The total interest crossed prior to some of these rate increases that we saw as of this close was on the tax-exempt bonds 3.4%, and the taxable was a shorter duration, so it was about 3.48%, but obviously if it was the similar duration, it would have been higher. So favorable rates still that we saw here is a competitive transaction. Janney Montgomery bought the Series B, and PNC Capital bought Series C. The next to report on is a KEFA Industrial Development Bond, a revenue bond. It was for Carmel Manor. The transaction size was $17.14 million. It closed September 22nd. It was a gross revenue pledge by the borrower, and again, there is no extension of state or KEFA credit for industrial bonds. This is a private entity. Finally, to report on another multifamily revenue bond. This is, again, a conduit for South Park project, and that is in West Manslick Road in Louisville. It closed September 22nd as well. Net proceeds was $22 million. It was a private placement with the total project cost just exceeding $41.3 million.
Thank you. Any questions on any of those three? Okay. Go ahead and proceed with the school district.
Sure. We have 4 transactions today for consideration. As I've said in previous months, due to some of the rate increases, we're not expected to see a lot of refunders. So these are all new money transactions with the combined SFCC contribution just about 6.6% or $2.5 million in estimated par, 93.4% and $35 million estimated par. They are all tax-exempt transactions, and no tax increase is necessary to finance any of these new money projects.
Thank you. Just let me interrupt you for a second. I need a motion and a second to roll all of these into one for a roll call vote. You may have a motion. Go ahead and proceed. Thanks.
That actually concludes my remarks unless there's any questions.
Do we have a motion to approve? Is there a second? Okay. Yeah. You call it. Call the roll.
Senator Girdler. Aye. Senator McDaniel. Senator Webb. Aye. Representative Herron. Yes. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Freeland.
Yes.
Chair Howell.
Thank you. Those are approved. I believe that's the last item on our agenda. Our next meeting will be Thursday, November 17th at 2:00 p.m. And with that, we are adjourned.